Good evening, I'm Ryan Graham. Thank you for joining us. The Thunder Bay Police Service is investigating a weapons-related incident. The incident occurred last night at approximately 6:30 p.m. at the corner of Red River Road and Clarkson Avenue. An accused male fled after assaulting an elderly victim who sustained serious injuries. Members with the primary response unit contained the area and deployed drones and the K9 unit. The accused has not yet been located. The victim was taken to hospital and remains in serious condition. The Major Crime Unit has commenced an investigation into the incident, which remains ongoing. Anyone with information that could assist investigators is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. The parliamentary leader for the Ontario Liberals was in Thunder Bay this past week, talking with local unions, educators, and autism families. John Fraser says the Ford government's priorities need a major adjustment. Jessica Clement reports.
And so we should be trying whatever we can do to make sure that that college system is sound, and right now it's not.
John Fraser has served as the Liberal Party's interim leader on several occasions, and he might do so again, with Bonnie Crombie on her way out as leader. During his visit to Thunder Bay, Fraser pointed to the strike by support staff at Ontario colleges as a symptom of the government spending less on higher education and more on private sector skills training.
It's interesting that the government's spent something like $2.5 billion on labor skills development fund, which you may be hearing about in the news. And they're giving, I think, $27 million to bars and restaurants and nightclubs in downtown Toronto. And at the same time, our colleges are losing 10,000 staff, and they're cutting hundreds and hundreds of programs, which means less access for young people who want to get trained, to want to learn a skill. And so there's some dissonance there, right? This thing that we built, the college system, it's being allowed to wither.
Fraser also addressed local complaints about the shortage of funding for schools and on special support programs for children with autism. He thinks at least $1 billion is needed to right the ship, but says the Ford government won't commit those extra dollars to autism support or schools.
The government spends money on things like about $2 billion to bring booze in the corner store a year earlier than we needed. If you look about, it's about $1 billion. It's about $2 billion what's gone on Ontario Place. Look, I think it's a question of priorities.
The Ontario legislature is set to resume sitting on October 20th following a 4-month break. Fraser says that long of a break is undemocratic and shows a government that's not transparent.
Governance always has to be reviewed. We should take a look at our governance at Queen's Park. Like I said, we're only sitting like 14 weeks this year. The government's extended the summer recess by 7 weeks. So we're not there talking about the things that are important to Ontarians, holding the government to account, or the government holding itself to account, because that's what members should do.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
New research is showing that opioids are harming and killing Ontario's First Nations people at a much higher rate than non-First Nations people. Researchers cite intergenerational trauma and a lack of access to treatment as key factors. Eric Tashner reports.
At an alarming rate, First Nations people are disproportionately impacted by the opioid overdose epidemic. The rate of opioid-related deaths for First Nations people in the province tripled between 2019 and 2022.
Well, unfortunately, it's not something that we already didn't know.
A 36-page report studied data from 2013 to 2023 and found First Nations people were 10 times more likely to visit a hospital for opioid-related toxicity.
Intergenerational trauma from the residential school system, from colonization, and those impacts are long-lasting, and that can lead to patterns of substance use.
The research found opioid use was higher among First Nations, particularly among those living outside their communities, compared to non-First Nations. Hospital visits due to opioid-related toxicity are also higher among First Nations people.
Northern and more remote communities face a lot of difficulties just because of their geographic spread in terms of trying to provide access to safe spaces to use drugs or to treatment.
The research does give some cause for hope. death rates have stabilized.
First Nation-led programming initiatives and that are having great success, and albeit not what we considered in the opioid addiction circle as conventional practices, have had great results.
In 2021 and 2022, nearly 400 Indigenous people died of an overdose, and First Nations people were dying at a rate 9 times higher than non-First Nations people.
We're lobbying the federal government to say, look, our police services are dealing with a wide variety of issues that are impacting community, including organized crime that is bringing opiates into community. We need police services as well to be an essential service.
The Chiefs of Ontario plans to examine data on publicly funded treatment programs to determine if they are adequately serving First Nations throughout this ongoing opioid crisis. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Good food, good company, and celebrating Northwestern Ontario flavors was a recipe for success this past week at an event called the Feast on Mixer. Hosted at Fort William Historical Park by the Culinary Tourism Alliance and Tourism Thunder Bay, local culinary industry professionals were invited to connect and collaborate. Guests enjoyed tasty bites crafted by the Chanterelle, along with the tasting of VQA wines and craft beverages from local producers. They also had the opportunity to learn about the Feast on Certification program, which recognizes businesses across the province that are committed to sourcing Ontario-grown food and drink. Nicole Brown with the Culinary Tourism Alliance says Thunder Bay's food scene is very unique compared to the rest of the province.
Yeah, like I said, it's so unexpected. Coming here, I mean, anything from fine dining to a cheese dairy. Like, who knew? Thunder Oak Dairy is so incredible. You know, in terms of how it fits into the rest of Ontario, well, it doesn't. It stands out.
Over the last 10 to 15 years, we have seen the culinary scene in Thunder Bay really grow exponentially. And Thunder Bay is probably the envy of small cities across Canada in terms of the international diversity of the food, the creativity of what we see here, and thus the options that are available in the community. And it's something that a lot of visitors are looking for when they travel. The food is something that stands out, and every traveler eats.
For many people, Thanksgiving is an opportunity to eat well, appreciate what we have, and be together with family and friends. But not everyone has these luxuries. The Salvation Army Journey to Life Center has once again teamed up with Thunder Bay Fire Rescue to provide the less fortunate with a hot Thanksgiving meal. For the past 28 years, the Salvation Army and local firefighters have spent Thanksgiving weekend prepping meals that get served to hundreds of people in need. They work hard to make this event accessible to all with the help of Iron Range bus lines, who dispatch vehicles around town to pick people up and bring them to dinner. Kevin Anderson, Public Relations Coordinator for the Thunder Bay Firefighters Association, explains why it's important to help the community in this way.
It just puts a smile on everybody's face that wouldn't otherwise have a warm meal for whatever reason they have, and so for us to give back to the community, that's an easy thing for us to do. We've got over 20 of our members, some people on their days off, even retirees and families come to help serve today. As first responders, we're on the streets, we see the need, we see poverty, and where people need an extra hand, so we're happy to do that, and people leave with a full belly and a smile on their face.
You know what, I'm glad to have a full room because it's a mixed emotion. I'm sad that we have a full room, that there's this many people that need this, but I'm happy that we have that full room and we're able to help so many. So again, it's sort of a mixed emotion here, but I'm grateful to see that people are utilizing it. I'm grateful to see that people are out there, and I'm grateful that we can help.
Due to the rising costs of living and with the mental health and addiction crisis in Canada becoming a growing concern, more and more people are experiencing forms of poverty, homelessness, and social isolation, which makes this event that much more important. Around 300 to 400 people showed up for a hot meal and community connection for this year's feast. Well, Monster Truck Madness, a show that is exactly what you think it is. Trucks of remarkable size showcasing gusto jumping, racing, and, well, a little madness. The event took place this weekend at the Thunder City Speedway. Reagan Johnson has the details.
Edge Entertainment is a company that produces monster trucks and freestyle motor shows across Canada. This weekend, they found themselves in Thunder Bay with Monster Truck Madness, featuring multiple different drivers: Sabotage, Canada's only female driver, and Rat Nasty, the 2023 champion. FMX World Tour was also at the track, demonstrating gravity-defying tricks that only the brave or insane would attempt. The president of Edge Entertainment, Ralph Moore, spoke to why he cares for events like these.
For me, it's watching all the little boys and girls putting smiles on their faces. I'm about creating experiences, and I talked to the track owners here yesterday, and they have the same business mentality as I have. If we can create great experiences for the little ones, little boys and girls, then that's exciting for us.
The monster trucks competed in side-by-side races and a freestyle competition. Rat Nasty was the winner of the dangerous contest. The motocross team worked in tandem to wow the crowd. The Thunder City Speedway was given the go-ahead to open in 2021 due to the dedication of its owners, two brothers by the name of Louis and Norm Nadine.
We'd like to thank the community for supporting the racetrack and supporting events like this. And by the crowd, I think we've had like close to 5,000-6,000 people this weekend. If we see that enthusiasm, we can bring different events to the track and to the community. It's kind of what we want to do here.
Yeah, it's all about getting people out here and give them something to do in our community. And I think anything that involves motorsports seems to get a lot of people out. So, yeah, we're happy with it.
Between the monster trucks, motocross, and hundreds of electrified fans, it's been a great weekend here at the Thunder City Speedway. Reagan Johnson, TBT News.